everybody. Welcome back to the Fired Up with CJ show. We are in part three of talking to Dr. Christine Page, the heart of the Great Mother, spiritual initiation, creativity, and rebirth. And we're talking about the triple goddess and what is the Great Mother, which is the main topic of this book. So maybe as a start, can you tell us what is the heart of the Great Mother? What is it, and what is it about?
People often ask me, what is the Great Mother? And I would relate it to what you might call God or the Creator or the Creatrix. Again, I've done a lot of study on what is in the beginning. You could call it the Big Bang.
Right.
But there is this essence, and you talked about the void, that in the beginning there was no thing. It was just a nebulous form. And that nebulous form wasn't masculine or feminine, but it then gave birth to the feminine. And then the feminine gives birth to the masculine. And no disrespect, but it's just the feminine is a more nebulous form. I think words like mystery relate to the feminine much more. The unknown, the darkness, that's the feminine. Out of the darkness comes, she gives birth to the light, which is our masculine.
Right.
And from what we were talking about, it's like she's the center here. And she gives birth to the part of us that goes out and does these things that we were talking about.
Okay, got it.
That's why in my book I talk about the hero's journey. It's like she goes, off you go and find yourself. And that's our hero, our inner hero who does all the journeying that we, whatever language I was brought up with, the King Arthur stories. So the knight goes off and does the hero
Right.
and then comes back, So it's our feminine gives birth to our masculine to go and find itself and then come back and bring the jewels, gems, which is what you've described.
Okay, so this is the feminine aspect of herself. So my husband, my sons can actually have a feminine aspect. It's that part of them that is the creator, the mystery that's going from the center, experiencing life as a man and coming back. This is not gender specific. Not only women can do this.
I only call it, you could call it God, except that God has kind of got too much definition at the moment, as with many people. But it's really, you want to just say the source, if you want to call it that, But it has an essence, and everybody has it. And again, being an intuitive myself all my life, it's intuition. So what I've taught intuition so many life, men and women are equally intuitive.
Right.
But women get distracted. Men, if you say, why did you do that? They go, that was obvious. And it's like, okay, it was obvious. So I say that men are much, much better at following through on their intuition than women are.
Right.
Because women think, well, how would that affect other people? Men just do it.
Right. So then there's
three. What I'm saying is we all have that source, and we all are given messages from that source.
Okay, so you talk about the triple goddess and that and you have these three archetypes that people are, these are archetypes that both genders have within them: the virgin, the mother, and the crone.
That's right. And you could use the moon. I'm very fascinated by the moon as that waxing moon, waning moon, dark moon. And we're in the dark moon at this present time. And 3 is the magic of creation. The magical number of creation. 4 is the number of structure. Okay, so we kind of structured our world into 4 seasons, but truly there were mainly only 3 seasons. Again, it's the smallest number of creation, number 3. Okay, so I'm only saying that's a mathematical conclusion. So the virgin, yes, and the virgin energy is the one to go out. The mother energy is the one to nurture, and the you could say the crone is winter. So with 3, nothing moves. Things have to die away to give birth to something new in all of us.
So these 3 archetypes actually map to the seasons as well.
They map to the seasons, to the moon. I mean, we live on this planet that's desperately trying to show us, follow me and you're going to be okay.
Okay. Now, one thing that you have in here, which I love, you talk about the mystical yoni or the vulva, which I was kind of like, wow, this is pretty shocking. So here is a picture of the Vesica Pisces. Is that how you pronounce it?
It is. And it's, to me, the Vesica Pisces is very ancient. Again, I've seen it everywhere. And it's where the circumference of one circle goes through the center of another. and they create what this centerpiece, which you'll see there, which is called the fish. This is why Vesica Pisces means fish bladder. So
Right.
it's the fish's bladder, but it's also Christianity took that on board, but it's actually about unity, oneness, coming together.
Mm.
And it's found in our hearts, it's found in our wombs, it's found in our vocal cords, it's found in our eyes. So our whole body is made up as a Vesica Pisces. And of
Mm.
course, as you said, it's found in the vulva. But I
Right.
want to say that we are born from this place and we return to it.
Right. Yeah, that
So
so this is the hole in which in our vulva that we are
we're
created. Yeah,
that's
we're born out, and then when and in creating life, we go
yeah,
in through the
that's
act of intercourse, which I thought
that's
was like, wow, that is amazing. And actually, what is so and I know I want to go into the spiritual meaning of this, is that when you look at this is a
yes.
picture of a lot of Gothic churches, and it has that same shape where you're
That's
going into the
the
church.
mother church. It should have been the mother church.
Yes, I love it. Okay, so tell me a little bit about, you said these two intersecting circles
Yeah.
are kind of unifying. What does that mean?
So, we might say masculine, feminine, but we get so obsessed by two. We live in a world of duality. We actually live in a world of trinity
Mm,
because it's actually the one and the two different come together to create a three.
mm,
And one of the things I do in with the Vesica Pisces, and you might like to try it out, anybody listening, is have two people and you sit opposite each other and you both experience the state of joy because joy is the energy of the heart, not love.
mm-hmm.
So you both think of a time of being in joy. You let your energies merge and you find that I am me, you are you, and we are us. That's the
Mm.
Trinity. That's that centerpiece where we're neither either of us, but we're more than us.
Yes, and so like in the Buddhist world, they would call it the field of awareness. It's the field in which we all create when we are unified as one.
Is and it's through the energy of joy, and it was in the Christian faith it was when two or more gather together there will I be, and it wasn't a person, it was you will feel that unified field when the two or more gather together.
Right. And you're describing it as love, but it could actually be fear and hatred as well. I mean, it's whatever, when we all gather together as a group.
Well, no, joy is the energy that you get it with, okay? And joy is the energy of the heart. So, one energy, if everybody in the world imagine joy, we have the same patterning anywhere where you are. It's just so interesting. Love, whoa, we're all over the place. So joy, and joy to me is that merging. We see a sunrise and we go, that's joy. Or you
Mm-hmm.
see your children and you go, well, maybe you don't, but joy is that spontaneous
Right.
experience where you're more than the being that you are in that moment.
Okay, so that is when when that joy happens, there's a unified field happening, but isn't there also a field of consciousness that is created from us just being together?
That's no, not as much. It is, but we're going to create diversity. And that's why I don't tend to get involved with peace meditations because everybody's meditating on their own agenda.
Ah.
And it's been said if 12 people could just focus on the same thing for 33 seconds, we would have an amazingly different world. And we can't
Mm.
because someone might say, I want peace because I don't want my son to die because he's a soldier. Oh, I want peace because I don't. It's like we can't all focus. We're so scattered.
But we all know what joy is, and it taps
But
that
joy
same
is
root.
interesting. We know it's the same wave pattern wherever you are in
Mm.
the world. It's amazing.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so
So when
yeah.
you enjoy, just to say, when you enjoy something, that's why I say, do you enjoy something? And someone might say, oh, of course I don't enjoy it. Then don't do it because you're not unifying with yourself.
Oh.
So if you're not enjoying it, enjoy, you're not in unity with yourself.
Okay, so going back to the uh, the second part in which we were talking about a seed and experience and like and this period right now, which is a challenge, also an opportunity, which is to figure out where you are in joy. what you're enjoying about your experience, because that helps you bring you back to your soul, your center, whatever you want to call it. Is that how to think about it?
And I'm not saying joy is like, yay. It's more like, are you engaging with this? Are you growing from it? Are you learning from it? Just because you do a job well, it doesn't mean you should keep doing it. You know, that is not enjoying.
Well, I don't know if I'm actually having, oh, I'm so happy. It's like, happy birthday, Joy. It's more
You
like,
feel this engagement, this part of you that's connected, resonance. It's more of a resonance with a, I've done things that, yeah, I won't say I didn't enjoy, but I was terrified.
right.
But I've left jobs, for instance, and it was like 99% of me knew I needed to do this, and one part of me went, but there was that part that said, I have to do this. And it wasn't from a mental state, it was that intuitive knowing this is the next step.
Mm. So
That's
for example,
enjoyment, that's enjoyment, that resonance with a truth that no one
ah,
can dissuade you. It's a knowingness.
okay.
It's knowingness.
Okay, so it's not necessarily like, yay, happy birthday, or hi, or like, oh, look at the mountain. It could be like, yeah, I quit my job. Or me, like when we were meeting earlier, you were so generous to do a soul reading for me, and like, oh, I've left my masculine and feminine like by the wayside in my spiritual journey, and so that's like oh wow, I've left my masculine and feminine grounding in my spirit. Wow. And then there's been this like passion and drive, and it's been hurtful. It's hurtful to see that I've done this to myself, but at the same time I've recognized it, which is like the first part of coming back to the center and planting that in. It's like, oh, look, on this journey where I've gone 3 petals, I've lost myself in every single, little by little. I'm draining little parts of my femininity and masculinity to the point like I'm like I'm neutered from anything, and going like, oh wow, like I don't even feel energy in my lower part because of this loss of self. So even though I'm not feeling joy, like this has been a very hard time. You could call it, I don't know if it's really um uh what is it? Darkness. What is
Dark
it?
night.
Dark night. It's not quite dark night of the soul, but it's like, wow. And this is,
Yeah.
it's not joyful. It feels painful, and I'm still moving forward. So how does one, maybe in the next section, we can talk a little bit about, okay, yeah, this is great. We're moving towards joy, but there's also pain. And I think we gave a big picture of like, well, this is the opportunity. You go back, but then how do you deal with the pain of losing little fragments of yourself throughout the journey? And maybe how that is related to the triple goddess. I've got to believe it is. so, so we've been talking to Dr. Christine Page, and we've been talking about the triple goddess, the Virgin, the Mother, and the Crone, which are aspects of ourselves, and how we come back to unification and finding our masculine and feminine parts of ourselves and being unified again. So in the next section, we'll be talking a little bit more about dealing with that loss of that stuff and how you get that back.
It means so much to me that you're listening to the show, and would love your support in any way by giving me comments below, or to subscribe to the show, or share the show with friends. Thank you again for your support. Love and blessings.
All right. Thank you so much.